configuration, in my opinion, the best configuration we've ever done. It always pays to plan ahead and to be prepared, right? We were talking about that in the last show with some of our electronics, you know, the protecting you in an emergency and things like that. But what if all of a sudden, a tornado started in your neighborhood? What if there was a hurricane, right? I don't even know what's blowing around there. I mean, look at all that stuff, that's crazy. What would you do if the power went out and you had no way to take care of you and your family? Well, Wise knows exactly how you feel. And let me just tell you, this company is amazing. The food that they create for you, which by the way, all you need to do is add water. You can eat it dry if you like. It doesn't take any heat or preparation. So if the energy or the power is out to your house, you can still exist with your family. And I'm talking a family of 4 for a week. If it's you, I mean, think about it. You've got a whole month's worth of food here and all kinds of food, and not just dehydrated food, not just stuff you buy in a camping store. You got to realize that the Wise company has been doing this for a very long time, and they have the best chefs and the best scientists that come up with the most incredible recipes that are delicious just by adding hot or cold water. I always tell everybody, if you can buy one of those little propane camp stoves, it's a good thing to have that in your kit too, just because warm food is a little more comforting than cold. But know that no matter what you do, you're gonna get it. 160 total servings of food so that you can serve your family delicious pasta, savory stroganoff, mac and cheese, beans and rice, all the veggies, eggs, baked potatoes. Look at all the sweets, the dried strawberries, yogurts, puddings, breakfast cereal, Orange Delight, whey milk, which all this is available to you, 160 servings, all at a price that is less than $100. And look at everything that you get here, and we kind of displayed it all out. It all comes in this big giant bucket. Now the bucket, you can keep all the food in there and put it in your a safe, dry place in your home. But remember, even if water fills up to here, this is gonna be fine, and all of your foods are sealed in their own containers. So you're saying, well, how long will this last? What if, I mean, I don't have to buy this, every year. This will last up to 25 years in this container. That's the science behind this. So whether something happens tomorrow, whether something happens a week from now, or 20 years from now, you got it covered.
Yes, you
Hello,
do.
Miss Stephanie Roberts.
Good to see you.
How are you? I always get excited when you're here because you know I'm a foodie.
Of course.
I love the taste of all this food, and normally when you think about emergency food, you don't think about quality and taste, right?
Exactly.
It's usually
convenience because you have to have it.
Right.
So Wise does things so differently because the first thing they did was make sure it tastes great.
Yes.
Wise starts by employing chefs so that they are putting together recipes the way they are supposed to taste. So when we say it's teriyaki rice, guess what? It's got a little bit of a sweet and spicy kick because it's supposed to. When it is creamy pasta and vegetables, you can see the big pieces of the vegetable. So the chefs are the first place that Wise turns. But after that, in the factory, it goes to the scientists. And here's what is so great about that. The product is dehydrated and packaged in something that's called a modified atmospheric package. What's that mean to you? So it's state-of-the-art packaging, and it keeps that great tasting chef-inspired food safe from things that make food go bad. Things like humidity, things like oxygen, because the pouch itself is state-of-the-art. Now, why is that a bonus for you? Because that means once you get this food home, it is there whenever you need it for up to 25 years.
Wow.
So we've got great tasting teriyaki
Yum.
rice. I could put this inside a white cardboard takeout. You would think it comes from your favorite Asian restaurant, but instead it's here in this pouch. All you have to do is add water, and it does not have to be hot water. It could be cold water, it could be tap water, as long as it's water that's safe to drink. You add water to the special state-of-the-art pouch, and you have food that is there for up to 25 years. Now, I do want to tell you, our pots are sitting on burners just to speed things up a little bit, because if I were in an emergency and I didn't have the propane stove that you recommend, and I recommend it too, any type of burner that does not need power. But once I go ahead and add in my mix, all I have to do is stir, and it doesn't matter if that water is hot or cold, I am good to go. And this will rehydrate. Now, warm, you'll see in 5 minutes, we're gonna have something that you are happy to eat.
Right.
I'm speeding it up a little for TV, but in an emergency, if I was using stone cold water, this will still turn into this. a gorgeous looking entree with 4 pretty good sized servings.
Oh, yeah.
I'm dividing this into the quadrants so that you can see when we tell you we are giving you 172 servings, that is a lot of food. You know, we're not just talking a tiny little serving there where it's, you know, 3 bites. These are big hearty servings.
And it's the difference between surviving and actually thriving. And that is a huge difference. When you watch any of the survival shows, they talk about that. They're like, you know, I don't want to just survive. I want to thrive with I want to make sure that my family is still comfortable.
Yes.
That they're okay. And whether you're feeding 1 other person, 2 other people, or your entire family, you're going to be covered, and you're going to have this peace of mind knowing if something happened in the power went out, and it's happened. My buddy was in West Palm Beach years back when they didn't have power for 7 or 8 days in a row.
Oh, it happens.
That's over a week's worth of time with no heat, no electricity. And remember also, when that happens, the grocery stores are closed, the restaurants are
They don't have power, they can't get food.
No, and I mean, if you want to eat something out of a can every day for 3 days, that's fine. But if you want real food, food that actually has consistency and is great for you, has all the nutrition that you're looking for, or it could be the juices or the breakfast, we put everything into one deal. Tell me something. I know the Wise way. You go to the Wise website.
Yes.
They're not going to get this deal there.
Well, they're certainly not going to get this variety, but serving-wise, if you go to the Wise website, you will get 84 servings for $200.
Wow.
So twice
the
as
amount.
much food for half the price. So you may be thinking, why would we do that, right? Why would we take such a drastic change? Here's where Wise means so much to me. First of all, it's an American company. They do everything right here in the U.S. The factories, the distribution, it is all right here in the U.S. of A. But the other thing about Wise is they've developed a great relationship with us here at HSN, and they want you to have this without having to spend $200. Now, don't get me wrong, they're happy to have people come to our website and spend the $200. It's still worth it. And read the reviews both on hsn.com and on the Wise Foods website. Thousands of people are spending $200 to get half this much of food. The reason Wise is doing this for us is preparedness is important. Knowing that things happen, knowing that we are in tornado season and heading into the brunt of it in the south, then it's gonna switch into the Midwest, knowing that hurricane season right around the corner. Again, it's not about survival, it is about thriving, but honestly, Guy, it is about survival. Because too many people don't even have those cans set aside. Why?
You don't plan.
Because you're busy, because it's one more thing on your list. I mean, you and I know the list of working parents, you know, we're all doing what we can to make every day okay. So that whole big, yes, gosh, I know I should be doing this and doing that, maybe you haven't. This makes it simple. You do it one time, and it's there for up to 25 years.
You're good to go.
And oh, by the way, let's talk about what you're getting.
Yeah,
because this is kind of looking yummy, I gotta tell you. I haven't eaten yet today, and I'm ready to dig in. So you are looking at teriyaki rice, you're looking at baked potato casserole, you're looking at tomato basil soup, you are looking at beef stroganoff, pasta alfredo, hearty meals that stick with you when you eat them. And speaking of hearty, you know, again, Wise has a great relationship with their customers, with our customers. They've asked us, like, hey, what do you want more of? What do you like the best? The answer was hearty. We want things that kind of give you that warm hug. Because here's the deal. If you're open up the emergency food, you either don't feel well, you're sick, you can't get to the grocery, you're having some type of natural or family disaster where you need something to help you, so you want that food that's a warm hug. This is one of the new ones. It is a potato chicken pot pie. I am hearing it as one of the new favorites for everybody. So we will be digging in there. So let's make that potato chicken pot pie. Again, everything here, all we're doing is adding water. It does not have to be hot water. And that is very important because obviously in an emergency situation, I may be digging into my water supply. Another thing to remember, get this, get the food, put it somewhere cool and dry, but here's the deal. you still need that emergency water supply. In fact,
Right.
now it's more important than ever, because not only is that something your family is gonna be drinking, but you can cook with it.
Right,
You
yeah,
can
and
make
that is
everything you see here with water.
very, very, very important. I learned that lesson from as a kid when my dad would he'd take gallon containers and he's like, fill them up with some water.
Yep.
That's the one thing that is really, you have to have water, right?
Absolutely,
You
you
can kind
do.
of live miserably for a while without any food, but you really have to have the air that you breathe and water. It's super duper important to be able to do that. So for this price at only $99.95, it is a great option. By the way, you see FlexPay up there for $24.99. I believe this has extra flex as well. So if you want to take advantage of that, you can, and which just spreads the price out a little bit more for you. But you know what I really love about this too is that you don't have to be any kind of a cook. You don't have to be any kind of a chef.
Absolutely.
You know the wonderful food sometimes that's available to campers and all that stuff. This is even better than that. I'm telling you, gourmet chefs prepare this because, like we said, they don't want you to just get by. They want you to feel comfort, and you want good quality of food, and that's why this food has this great flavor. It's why this food has this almost a richness to it that you kind of miss when you're just trying to get by, right? And it's something about cooking food.
Well,
having it.
it's food that has the flavors that you would expect it to have.
Right.
When we're talking about a potato, chicken, vegetable pot pie, when you look in here, you can see the peas, you can see the carrots, you can see the celery. You expect there to be some texture. When somebody says emergency food to you, listen, I know the first thing you're gonna think, and I know that guy would tell me, roll his eyes the first time we learned about this, until we experienced this kind of emergency food. The taste is there, the texture is there. It tastes like it's supposed to because it's put together by chefs. The first thing Wise does is make sure these recipes are the way you want them to be. The second thing they do is make sure they're shelf stable for up to 25 years. But whether it is the beans, the rice, all the different entrees that are coming with it. So you're getting 172 servings. That equals 10 different lunch and dinner entrees, and you're seeing them now. You're seeing the potatoes, you're seeing the tomato basil soup, you're seeing the alfredo. 10 different varieties of food that are gonna taste great to you. I like the teriyaki rice because I've got an adult palate, right? I like a little bit of kick. My kids prefer this cheesy mac because quite honestly, they're hard to eat on a daily basis.
So here's what you get. You get the water that you have, right, that you've stored, and either you heat it on a little camp stove. And by the way, the camp stoves are cheap. You can go to a camping store and you can get a little mini propane tank that'll get you through, right?
But you don't have to.
I know, but I say that
but I'm
because
gonna keep saying that.
I know, that's fine. But let me tell you, warm food's better than cold food.
I don't disagree.
That's what I'm gonna tell you.
No one's gonna
If I'm
disagree.
stuck for a week, I don't want to eat cold mac and cheese. I want to eat it warm. But if you're in a pinch and you can't get out, and you don't have that, you can, the importance is to feed your family, right? Any way that you can. But obviously, with a little bit of prep ahead of time, which is just buying the Today Special to having it in a container and being able to, and putting some water aside, you're gonna be able to really do well. And even if it's just a night where you don't feel like going out and you're like, let's try one of those Wise things. The food is so good. And I think they're gonna be very impressed because, it's simple. Add water. There's no extra things you need to add. Just add water and you're good to go.
Okay, so here's the thing.
What else?
I want to take a look at what's at the rest of this table, and then I want to go feed you the teriyaki rice that we made just a few minutes ago.
Okay.
So we've talked about these 10 lunch and dinner entrees. Here's the rest of them that we've talked about, the cheesy mac, the pasta and vegetables. But it's not just about lunch and dinner, right? If we're going to have a power outage, I want 3 meals a day. So because I'm hungry, 172 servings is enough for a family of one person to have 3 entrees a day for a month. So we can do a little math here. 2 people for 2 weeks, or a family of 4. This is 1 week's worth of food with 3 entrees a day for a week. And that includes breakfast. So there's brown sugar oatmeal. There's apple cinnamon oatmeal. By the way, those strawberry granola, highly snackable. I've been digging in that all morning.
Look at this.
So the strawberry granola, you can see the pieces of fruit in there. So 3 different grain options for breakfast.
It's really good.
I know, isn't that great?
Wow.
And then, think about it, we still want beverages other than water, especially with kids. Milk, so important. This is the ability to make a pitcher of whey milk. Kids with sippy cups at night. As you were saying, we're not just surviving, we're thriving.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna thrive as a mom if my little ones can't sleep and have a sippy cup worth of milk, even if we're living by flashlight, even if we're doing things a little out of the ordinary. Think about it, the kids are scared. You know, this is different. It's dark, there's no heat, there's no air. Life is off, but we can still have great food. We can still have milk. We can still have orange drink, because not probably all of us want to drink water endlessly if we're doing that for a week. We can even still have dessert, vanilla pudding and yogurt dessert, also included in your 172 servings.
Everything you could possibly want and then some for you to be able to get through some of the toughest times. You know, it could even be, hey, listen, it could be a snowstorm. You know, we talk about hurricanes and tornadoes. It could just be flooding. It could just be a lot of water and you can't get across the roads or for whatever. Take a look at this, right? And then again, think about it. You can sleep well knowing, you know what? If something happened and my responsibility was these kids or my grandkids or my wife or husband, it would be so nice to know that you've got a backup plan. You know, we talked earlier in our other hour, Stephanie, about redundant systems like on an airplane, right? No airplane would go out there without some backup system.
Absolutely.
Right? No way. You wouldn't get on a plane like that. Yet, if you don't have any way to be able to take care of you and your immediate family, if something happens, you really aren't doing your job. You really need to have backup. And if it sits there for 20 years and you never use it, guess what? You're still sleeping well at night knowing just in case we got it. And then in an emergency or a pinch or whatever, or maybe you're not feeling well and you're like, I want something, I have power, but I want something warm and delicious that I can eat. You're good to go with that. We just made this live. Is this the teriyaki rice?
Yep, we made this live. So again, everything you see here, all I'm doing is adding water.
No,
this is teriyaki rice. If
really?
Isn't that awesome?
This is so good.
Tell me about the flavor profile.
It reminds me, well, it tastes like getting Chinese takeout.
I know it does. It tastes like it's supposed to, and that's what makes Wise different. When it says teriyaki, it's got a little pepper kick, doesn't it?
It's got a little spice to it.
It's
We have protein that we could add to this too, right?
Absolutely.
Want to remind you, coming up in just a bit, we'll mention it throughout. We have vegetables you can pick up. We have fruit that you can pick up that's all dehydrated. Or we have protein. You could put chicken in here.
You could put chicken in it. You could put beef in there. And that's the thing. This is all you need with the 172 servings. But if you want to make things stretch a little farther, add more, you can pick up a fruit kit, a protein kit, or a vegetable kit. And then it will certainly enhance everything else that you're doing. I recommend the protein because here's the deal. I feed a bunch of teenage boys. Guy, I know you have a teenage son as well.
This would be great with chicken.
Yes, it would. And here's the deal. I need one of these big things of protein to teriyaki rice to stretch a little bit more. So therefore, I would add a protein. You want to make that one?
Can we make another one?
We'll make another one. Here's something I want you to know, though. You don't need to heat this water. Right. I know guys going to tell you over and over, and I don't blame them, that everything tastes better hot. We all know that.
Not everybody can be me.
That's
Not
right.
Everybody is
Not everybody elevates to your level.
You know, I bring it up just because it's so funny how much I use the thing even when I'm not.
The propane stove, I agree.
It's great to have an extra burner.
It is great to have it.
Just, if you can do it, do it. If not, do not worry.
Yep.
Because to Stephanie's point, the whole idea is to get through this, right? To get through this really hard time any way you can. And if you can't get to the store, know that you've got your own little supermarket right over here.
All you need.
How many servings? 100? That's
172.
A lot.
And we've done this before. We offer this a couple of times a year at a really, really great price because it's so important to us and it's so important to Wise that everybody be okay. You know, already this season, it's been some scary weather. You know, the freak Seattle snowstorm is something that I talked about with Wise. So Wise is based in Utah. So they are all very, very in touch with all of the many things that happen in the western part of the country.
Right.
We are on the eastern part of the country, and I think we're a great mix because, you know, we both think about different things.
Sure.
They were telling me when Seattle had that freak snowstorm, it was about a month or so ago, people didn't leave their offices for a couple of days.
Think about it.
Do you want to be stuck in your office with no food for a couple of days? Corporations are now calling Wise and saying, hey, we need to stock some of these in our office for our employees. And I thought, oh my gosh, that is amazing. By the way, one of the biggest corporations based in Seattle is now stocking this for their employees. But that got me to thinking, okay, I am an employee at my desk. maybe my company isn't so nice and they're not gonna stock it for me. I'm gonna stock this for myself.
Put a couple in there,
I want some of these in my office. So I look at this 172 servings and I think, okay, here's the deal. I'm gonna put some of these away for my family so that we have several days worth of food. I'm also gonna put a few, honestly, aside for my mom because I wanna make sure that she's okay too. But maybe I need to take some of these to the office. Maybe I need to put some of these on my boat because goodness forbid, you go out, things happen. Maybe it's just something simple that we have a dead bat or need a tow. But when I'm hungry, I'm hungry. There are a lot of situations in life where we can be hungry. Maybe it's temporary and it's only 12 hours. Maybe it's not so temporary and it's a flood or a tornado and we're talking days. But either way, there's not a day in life that goes by where we might not need some food. This is the easiest and best tasting way out there to do it. And then let's do some math, right? You're hungry this afternoon.
Yeah.
172 servings divided by 99.95. We are talking 50-some cents a serving. 50-some cents
worth
a
its weight in
serving
gold.
for teriyaki rice that Guy just said tastes like it came from his favorite Asian restaurant. You know, I mean, I can't make a meal, I can't do a drive-through for my kids at that price. So the value is outstanding. So then you start to think about the value. Okay, maybe we're having a week where paychecks are a little thin. It's not stretching as far as I wanted to.
Sure.
To be able to put a hot meal on the table like this at 50-some cents a serving, I pick this up because what if my groceries run out before my paycheck comes Friday?
Sure.
What if I'm sick? I've been a single mom for many, many years when my children were young, and to just, you know, suddenly you have the headache or you have the flu and you're also the only one that can get up and go to the grocery store. I love having this in the cupboard because it tastes good enough that on a random Tuesday night when it's pouring down rain and I've got a fever or my little ones have a fever and I can't haul them out to the store, suddenly it's great tasting food that's here.
Right.
Like your emergency may be whatever it is that's happening in your life.
And you know, it's wonderful food, like to your point, when you're not feeling well. You know when you're not feeling well and you just, like, if it's not an emergency and you just want to have something that's got some great nutrition, it's not really soup, it's more like a food, you know what I mean?
Right, you want a meal.
You want a meal, that's what this is. So whether it's the cheesy mac and cheese, whether it's the teriyaki, whether it's the potato casserole, there's so many, the beans, the rice, and by the way, the beans and rice are amazing too. You get everything that you need, as we said, for you and your family to be able to survive and to get through it. If the power is out, the electricity is out, don't fear. Remember, all these are made with just regular water. You can pour it right from your little emergency water containers right into a bowl, mix it up, let it sit for a little bit. As we said, we add heat here on stage because we want to show you the end product, and we don't have a lot of time to do all these different dishes. So we try to show them to you live as best we can. But if you could smell this place, I mean, it really smells like a restaurant kitchen. That's what it smells like in here. With delicious food, wonderful recipes. Let's talk about that too, because they really put a lot of effort into creating the flavor profiles for all these food. They want people to really enjoy the food and not just be like getting by.
You're right, that's right. This is not survival food, it is emergency food. And the difference with that is that it tastes like real food. So this recipe right here is actually one of the new ones that has been added. So I want you to taste this because I think you'll love it. It is chicken pot pie potato casserole. So let's just take a look inside the pot.
Yeah,
all I did was open a pouch and add water. I see peas, I see carrots, I see big pieces of potato. I can smell the spicing here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull it out of the pan because it's warm, so we're gonna let it cool for a second for you. But look, I mean, when we say something is made with vegetables and proteins, you can actually see it. This isn't dry, this isn't bland, this isn't powdery and nasty tasting. It is exactly what you would want it to be. So we actually did a little preview on Saturday. I think Leslie Mikado was going to eat her entire
it's so good.
bowl of this because she said,
it's comfort food.
That's what she said. She goes, I haven't eaten, it's cold in the studio. She's like, this is exactly what I need. And that's how Wise puts together these recipes. You know, they're thinking of what makes us feel good. What is that culinary hug? What will my family want? If there's, you know, flood out there and you have to explain to your kids, guess what? We're gonna stay home quite a little while here, or it's a snowstorm, or it's a tornado. I mean, there's not a lot scarier than listening to the winds from a powerful thunderstorm or tornado whip through. So let's say your kids have heard that during the night, and then they're waking up to no power. They're still hungry. They still wanna be okay. So Wise has put together a variety of breakfast entrees, lunch entrees, and dinner entrees that make things okay for your family.
Look how nice that is.
You know what, and I love this, Mom. Like, that's right, let's set the table. Let's be as normal as possible, because here's the deal. If it's really been a situation where there's big problems, it's not gonna be over in 24 hours, you know? It may be a week or so. Those of us here in the South remember very well Hurricane Matthew last fall coming into the panhandle of Florida. That was not expected to be a big deal. In fact, it whipped up in like 3 days. So here's another point. It whipped up in 3 days.
Yeah.
If something whips up in 3 days, and quite honestly, I grew up in the Midwest, so severe thunderstorms and tornadoes, those whip up in minutes and hours. You don't have time to be like, oh crap, I haven't been to the grocery. We may be stuck here. That's why we're doing this now, because now things are fairly calm, hopefully, in your world. You have time to sit and think, ooh, yeah, if I only have 3 hours, if I only have 3 days, do I have enough time to put together a week's worth of food with 3 entrees a day for a family of 4? Probably not. And even if you do have time, you go to the store, so's everybody else. You know?
If you can get to the store.
If you can get there, if everybody else isn't there. This is how you do it all now.
When I was a kid, I think it might have been Hurricane Bell. It's a long, long, long time ago. And we were up in Vermont. My parents and my brothers were at, we had rented a cabin that was called Covered Bridge Lodge, because there was a river and you had to go over the bridge to get to the lodge.
Sounds lovely.
So it was a wonderful place, and we were there for many, many years. But the one year that we weren't there in the summer, Hurricane Bell came, and we didn't think it was gonna hit way up in Vermont. It was supposed to be a coastal storm. So it comes right through to Vermont, and the river's height went from 8 feet to 30 feet, and the bridge was gone when we woke up. Bridge was gone, and the rain was coming down, and the embankment was starting to cave in. We thought the house was gonna go in the water. So we get out of the house and we hike up the hill in the middle of the night to go to the house above. We break a window, it wasn't our house. We stayed in there till the storm went away. We were stuck at the Covered Bridge Lodge for 5 days before somebody came and put a pipe in the river and paved over it to drag our truck across. The only store was 3 miles away. So we all would actually, like, not my mom, but me and my brother Darren, backpacks, camped into town when the store was finally open. And then we had to haul that all the way back. We couldn't drink out of the river, because normally that's what we did, because it was now was polluted. It was a nightmare. My mother was feeding us like crackers and chips. We finally got to a store and we bought some stuff, but it was 2 or 3 days before we had a real meal.
Well, and what did you buy? You didn't buy meals like this. You know, you were buying cans of whatever
we could find.
Whatever you could find. So this
and
is
bottles
a way.
Of water.
Absolutely, because the water's the most important thing. Get the water, and then get this, and you're totally covered. You're covered with milk, because you can make a pitcher with whey milk. You're covered with orange drink, because kids complain after about 3 days of nothing but water. You know, this was put together by parents, by people who understand what a family needs to be okay. Again, 3 different types of breakfast entrees. So here's the deal. If you're digging into this, you're not even eating the same thing day in and day out. There's brown sugar oatmeal, there's apple cinnamon oatmeal, there's strawberry granola. You see the pudding and the yogurt there on the end. That is because it's a lot more fun when you're actually having dessert. So Wise is giving us a pack of vanilla pudding, just like everything else here.
Good,
all I do, it is really good. All I do is put the powder in.
Make the pudding, will you?
I make this because this is what the hosts really want to eat. So here's something fun, though. I mean, think about what it's like to make pudding even regularly. You cook it on the stove, you know, you want to make sure. In seconds, this comes together. This is where the chemistry behind this. I'm a little bit of a science nerd. This is so exciting to me. There are no lumps. There are no bumps. You know, they have figured out at Wise the way to make every single entree taste amazing with just a little water and a whisk. I mean, that's literally all you need.
Okay, so we have some testimonials that I wanted everybody to listen to out there. Kind of put it the whole thing in sort of in sort of a framework where you can really comprehend comprehend how scary it can all be. It doesn't necessarily have to be that scary. When you're inside your home, you can have food to eat, you can take care of you and your family. We've talked about it for a while, but take a listen to some of these folks and let them give you their story, and then we'll come back and we'll talk all about it. Take a listen.
I mean, I don't have to add any other vegetables, any other seasonings. It's all in there. It's really easy.
You know, that part of your life is not going to be in some kind of upheaval. It's pretty much what mom would put on the table.
One of the coolest things about having an emergency plan is being able to check off how you're going to get your water and how you're going to get your food. Because those two staples, once you've kind of put those in the back of your mind, right, and you know that those are already taken care of, then it leaves you a lot more bandwidth to focus on what else might be happening.
All right, everybody. I love listening to different people's stories. I told you, and I just brought up that one emergency. I can bring up a half dozen other times where we were stuck in our house for days. Yeah. I was at a girlfriend's house when I was in 11th grade, and we decided to stay. We hang out at her house because it was a snowstorm. That we woke up in the morning, there was 3 feet of snow on the ground, couldn't open the doors to the house.
Absolutely.
Nothing was plowed for 2 days. We were stuck in that house. Luckily, her mom, we did actually have power. Power didn't go out, and her mom had stuff there to eat, but I was thinking if the power went out, we'd be boiling snow water to drink water because all the systems were frozen. This is a way to become more self-reliant. Can we show the big bucket again? Can we do that and show all the packages? Would you mind doing that with me, Stephanie?
Let's go over and talk about it.
We're gonna get that shot because
I'm gonna put my pudding down though.
Yeah,
I won't take it away.
I'm gonna eat it as soon as you're done.
I won't take it away.
We're gonna step over to our table that shows you everything that you're gonna get and the bucket itself. And by the way, a lot of people will break up the packages and put them in other packages and use the bucket for something. That's totally fine if you want to. Some people will put water in the bucket, right? Whatever it is, you decide how you wanna break it up. But look at everything we get.
Yeah, 172 servings. So first of all, the bucket, it's waterproof. It's bug-proof. It is seriously sturdy. You know what it also is when it's packed with 172 servings? It's seriously heavy. So the fact that this is coming right to your porch, you don't have to haul it anywhere else, free shipping and handling, that is a big deal. Here's the other thing too. It's a one and done. You know, it's the 3 different meals, it's the drinks, it's the desserts. Yeah. It is all in here. Now, once this gets to you, there's only one thing that's important for you to do. Keep it in a cool, dry place. If you keep this in a cool, dry place, so not in the attic, not in the garage. Mine is under my bed. I actually take it out of the bucket and put it in an underbed box. I know a lot of friends, my mom keeps hers in a guest room closet. You know, it's not like you need to see it every single day, but you need to know you have it. So keep it in a cool, dry place, and it's yours for up to 25 years. But I've got to tell you, when you go on hsn.com, we've been working with Wise for several years now. We sell a whole line of their products, and we'll show you more. Read the reviews, because here's what I've learned. People get this home and they open it and they try
They
one.
eat it.
And I want you to,
know,
because
fine.
here's the thing. Why take our word for it, right? Get it home, open it up, and eat some of it so you can see what you like, what tastes great, whether or not you are believing what we're talking about, give it a try. So then you end up being like, well, okay, I actually really love that cheesy mac. My kids were crazy about it. So maybe you pull out the cheesy mac and you use it as part of your family's food rotation, or you set it in your pantry so that on a night you are too darn tired to go to the grocery store, you can have that cheesy mac. But regardless of that, put some of it away in some sort of kit for the emergency situation. That is the whole point of this, so you have that. But outside of the emergency, our campers absolutely love it. You go camping,
backpackers.
It rains the whole time, that fire, not making for good burgers. Wouldn't it be nice to have this so you can still eat something, you know?
Hey, listen, in a pinch, you can eat any of it dry if you had to. I mean, honestly, if you really
in a
need
true emergency,
if you really need to get food in you, you can do that. You know, a little bit crunchy in some of the areas, but I'm telling you, when you're stuck somewhere, you'd be amazed at what people will eat when they're hungry or when they're starving. You've watched the TV shows. You've watched them eating bugs and everything else, because when your body needs would you rather eat a bunch of bugs or would you rather eat this dry? Those guys would kill for this when they're out and Naked and Afraid and all those shows where you got nothing going on and you're just trying to survive. This is not just surviving, it's thriving. And I agree with Stephanie's point. Try it. You need, I would, no matter what, I would at least try making one. Even try with just making one the way it's supposed to be made, which is just put some water in there and see how it, you can always heat it up later.
Yeah, eat at room temperature.
Yeah, but try it, because I think it's important that you understand kids, because this way you can help talk to the kids about it. This is our food.
Right.
This is what we're eating. This
Don't be
is good.
scared.
We're lucky. A lot of people don't have anything. And again, you know, listen, you go out and you buy flashlights just in case of an emergency. I bet most of you have a backup can of gas in your garage, right? You do all these things to take care of machinery, to take care of your property. What are you doing to take care of yourself? I would bet most of you out there do not have food put away. I
agree with that.
I would say most of you don't have water put away. You need to do that, and not just any day. I mean, especially during seasons when you know there's a chance you're going to have a storm, you're going to get snowed in, rained in, hurricaned in, whatever it is. It makes good sense. And the ones that do it are the ones that are able to get through it. We read all the time about how people, you know, get stuck in their house and then, you know, something terrible happens. It's because a lot of people just don't think it's ever going to happen to them.
Right.
It's never going to happen to me.
And here's the thing, we see it every single year on the news, and our hearts break because we understand that, you know, natural disasters are obviously the ones we see the most of, and we understand we can't control, you know. Tornadoes happen. Already an early morning surprise in Alabama this season. Those people woke up to nothing. You could have woken up to a total bucket of food and known that you were okay no matter you were going. And we're going to have a hurricane. We're going to have severe thunderstorms. We're going to have tornadoes. It's just part of life. But the other part of life is being ready to weather those storms as best as possible. Here's the other thing that I always challenge people. Let's say the storm came through today and you were forced to live off of what is in your pantry right now. Not your fridge, because after a day or so, that's not going to work anymore.
Right.
You can dig right in there.
You mind if I go?
Nope, go right on in.
Is this the potato?
That is the potato, and doesn't it smell amazing?
I smell bacon.
It's got a smoky.
Got a bacony sort of smell.
Yep, it's got a smoky smell to it.
So little chunks of potato.
Yep, and of course you can see some spices there, some parsley, some chive. Isn't that amazing? I know, you could dig in that for a long time.
I would eat that every day. I mean, that's like that's really well, and you guys know I'm a foodie, right? I'm a restaurant guy. That's really well seasoned. It's delicious.
And you didn't used to want
bacon.
to do this, and that's, I think, okay to me. I remember the very first time we talked about Wise Foods. What did you say to me? Do I have to eat them on camera?
I was like, hey man, I'm like, listen, I don't want to eat this stuff. I don't want to eat emergency food. And she's like, just try it. And I'm like,
just trust me.
Let me tell you something, man. Good stuff.
That's
and
right.
Leslie Machado too. She has refined taste, and she's like, give me that stuff.
Digging in that pot pie, that is for sure. So, and the reason.
Man, that's good.
The reason it tastes so good is because the very first thing that Wise does is they talk to chefs and they say, make me a potato casserole that tastes like a great potato casserole. Let's figure out how to dehydrate the potatoes, the spices,
better than most potato casseroles I've had.
It tastes better than a lot of restaurants, to be honest.
That's really good.
So they start with the chefs. Now, the second thing they do, though, is why this potato casserole will be there for you in an emergency. It is all about the science. It is the science behind the state-of-the-art packaging. These pouches rock. These pouches are what could keep you, me, and our families eating safely after a storm, after a flood, for up to 25 years. This potato casserole is gonna taste as good as it does right now, up to 25 years from now. All I'm doing is adding water. I do not have to heat the water. We have the burners sitting on, this pan sitting on burners just to make things go a little more quickly. I want Guy to try as many different things as possible. But if we were in a storm and this was sitting on my counter and I used room temperature or even ice cold tap water, this potato casserole will look exactly like this in about 15 minutes with the real pieces of potato, with those pieces of parsley, the chive, the smoky flavor, the flavor profile doesn't change if it's ice cold. Water makes this happen.
Yeah.
The scientists keep it safe in the pouch.
And you need to know something too. If you think you can go and just buy dehydrated food from the store, like the regular mac and cheese, and make the same thing, you can't. There is a whole science behind this that allows the water to rehydrate the food, okay? It's a different process. Regular foods that are out there, I mean, you know, with the exception of a couple, they're not gonna look the same when you try to rehydrate them with cold water. They're just gonna sit there and they're gonna be nasty.
Exactly.
So you need to trust the folks at Wise. This is what they do, okay? This is what they do. to help people get by. They come up with the recipes. They use the science behind it and the taste and the chefs to make it taste delicious. And it works every time. Hey, really quickly, let me remind everybody that you can get this available on AutoShip as well.
Yes.
On the Full Out Today's Special 2, we have a 90-day AutoShip, which you can sign up for and quit at any time. But a lot of people just eat the food. They love the food.
Well, and
or
let's talk
they're
about
campers or whatever.
Yep, camping.
Or they've given some away, or they want to get one for their kids.
Yep,
So,
family members, older family members. A lot of people buy this for the very first time. Try it, as
They
of
eat
course
it.
we want you to, and then they realize that Guy isn't kidding, this stuff really tastes great. So then it becomes a convenience food, and that's okay, because at this value price per serving, it's a great convenience food. So if you want to keep it coming in intervals so you always have it, because remember, you've got to put some of this aside for emergency preparation. But if then you're camping, you're boating, you're hiking, you're worried about your mom. My grandma used to never go out when it rained. Probably not a bad choice, right? Driving in the rain can
Rain or
be
the
scary.
snow.
Right, but when you stop going out, anytime there's a weather problem, you stop having enough food in your house very quickly. So I love this for older people, to just make sure there's always a good meal in the house. That's peace of mind for me as the daughter, even when it isn't a storm. You know, peace of mind as a mother, peace of mind as a daughter. It doesn't matter why you need peace of mind. Maybe you've got crazy kids, because I have a whole bunch of teenage boys that want to go off backpacking and hiking this summer. And as the parent, you're like, are they gonna eat? What are they gonna eat? Put this in their backpacks. It's so easy to carry. Our campers love it. You don't want to haul a whole bunch of food to a campsite, especially if you're going deep off into the woods. You know, this is so easy to carry, so easy to eat.
I would totally buy this as my son is going to college. I would totally buy one or two of these and send him up to college with it. The problem is, I know the food will probably be gone in about 3 weeks.
So
He'll eat all the
Suzanne
food.
Runyon did this.
Yeah.
She sent
The
a
best
bucket
college
to her
kid
son.
food ever.
Yes, and I have a freshman in college who isn't eating well, and your son will probably be worse.
I know. I'm not putting down Chick-fil-A, but you can only go there so many times a week.
It's
without
expensive.
Spending all the money that you have, that your father
Absolutely.
or moms give you.
And
so.
wouldn't you rather be having a meal that is balanced and good tasting? And wouldn't you just like to know you have this whenever you need it, whatever the reason?
There's a lot of reasons that I sleep well at night, and this is one of them. You know, it's a way. This is to feed my family. I have ways to protect my family that help me to sleep better. I have things that protect my house that make me feel. I mean, those are all parts. It's unfortunately, you know, we live in a world that, in a natural world that can be dangerous, and an unnatural world that can be dangerous. The steps you take now really are the keys to your, like we said, really surviving and thriving at the same time. It's a big, big deal. But you know, Stephanie, all things that we can do something about.
Absolutely, and you know what? It's insurance. Here's the way I look at it. I have car insurance. I don't even want to think about what I pay for that every month.
I know.
I've got homeowner